Today I'll be demonstrating how to enter a claim on global warranty. You will first need to start by entering your username and password. If you do not have a username and password, please contact Norlake Technical Support and we will provide you with one. A note about global warranty: it is best to avoid using the back button. It can occasionally log you out and you can lose the progress of the claim you're entering. It is always best to navigate the website with this bar up here where you can go between your claim list and your entering of claims. This will be the first page you see. This will allow you to see if you have a pre-authorized claim. In this case, since this shows up here, this would show that this claim was authorized and sent to you by Norlake. If you performed warranty work that was not pre-authorized, you can still enter it here by dropping down and entering a new claim. Since this one has already been authorized though, it is best to work off that. This is typically the screen you will see when you log in. It is best to verify under Service Agent that this is your company name. You do not have to do anything with the labor rate code or the warranty type. The name should be the name of the restaurant that you perform the work at, or hospital, or whatever the case may be, as well as the site contact there and the best way to get a hold of them, and updating the address. To start entering this claim, you need to scroll to the bottom and hit the edit button. As you can see, now we have red boxes on all required fields. These are the fields that must be entered so we can save this and move on to entering our labor and parts. It is important in describing cause and specifically action that we are very detailed in the chain of events. For example, if your first trip was diagnosing the unit and then you returned, in this case, with a replacement compressor, and then upon replacing it and firing up the unit, you then diagnosed a freon leak and then needed to order an evaporator coil, it would be very important to be detailed that this took multiple trips. This helps us decipher and determine what should be covered. You can either enter the date under the format shown here, or you can use the calendar here and enter the dates you perform service on here. The invoice number that it is requesting is the invoice number that your company identifies the claim with. Once we have all the red boxes filled in, we can click Save. You will now see that once this is saved, our labor detail tab, as well as parts and other tabs, will now become available to us. Now we will click on our Labor Detail tab. So the flashing red button, add labor line, this is where we will start. We need to put a technician's name in. We need to put a date. This needs to be between the date requested and the date completed, or it will cause trouble when you submit the claim. It can also be on these dates or anywhere in between them. So in this example, we will say 5/2 was the day the compressor was replaced. And then you will enter your charge rate and your travel rate. It is important to note Norlake will either cover travel time or mileage, but we will not cover both. If you do not charge based on a travel time or a travel rate and you have a flat fee for servicing a site, you could also put a 1 in here and put that amount in as well. Once we have the first labor line, we will hit save. And in this example, for everyday work was done, you would want to have a separate labor line. So if you were to go diagnose the compressor, replace it, and then return later that same day and enter or replace, say, a thermostat, that could all be on one labor line. If you return the next day, it would be important to add another labor line here. Once our labor is entered, we can then move on to the parts. Once again, flashing red button here showing where we can add line items. It is important when adding line items to always click the miscellaneous box here. Under item description, if you had the model of the compressor handy, this would be a good place to put it in. It's also important to note that you can add tax under part items as well. Once again, click the miscellaneous box. Tax. Under description, please put the rate that you are taxing us at. We're going to want to leave quantity as 1. And the amount of that tax. If you make an error on entering a line item, sometimes it can be difficult to edit a line item, and if that becomes the case, you can always delete a line item and re-enter it as a new line item. Once we have our labor and parts entered, it will be important to upload documentation showing the wholesale receipt for the compressor. This may be required of other parts as well, depending on what you're charging Norlake for it. If for whatever reason the amount you are charging is higher than an acceptable value, you will get a need more information status on your claim, and it will request please upload the wholesale receipt into the file room. The file room tab will allow you to add files and browse your computer to upload a file or document directly to Global Warranty. This is always needed under any purchase compressor. This allows us to verify payment and that the correct compressor was put into the unit. Once the file is uploaded, we can close out of here. And we can go back to our summary page. And when we are finished, we can hit Submit Claim. It is important to note that your warranty and labor may cite. So here we have an example where an invoice number already exists. That means you have entered an invoice with that number already. So in that case, you would need to edit your claim and slightly change it and hit Save. If you're unsure if you've already submitted your claim, you can double check your claim status at any time. Here it is still showing that we are authorized, so that means it has not been submitted to the manufacturer yet. It's important to note that when doing compressor-only warranty claims, you will see warranty expired, labor warranty expired. That is parts and labor only. Compressor-only warranties are different. So if you are unsure if it has compressor-only warranty, please call our technical support and we can always verify for you. Now let's resubmit our claim. This is where we will see a review of everything we've entered. And here we see our labor as well as our parts and the total that is coming to. It's important to always be on Submit Claim and to verify you have all green check marks. This is where if you did not have your dates correct on entering what day work was requested, completed, and your travel dates for your actual labor line, you may see some red X's here. So verify that information is correct. When you are done, go ahead and click Submit. Now you will see our claim status is shown as submitted to manufacturer. And we can also find this on our claim list on our main page. You will also see you have a reference and an NOR number that you can call in and reference when checking on payment. Or you can always reference your invoice as well. And here is our overview again. You can see that this is submitted to manufacturer. You can check back at any time. You'll see either approved, approved paid. Approved paid does not mean you have received payment yet. It just means that we have approved on all levels of the amount. If you see an NMI here, that means we need more information and probably some sort of documentation of the part you billed us for. This concludes this demonstration of how to enter claims. If you ever have any problems that you cannot solve or cannot overcome, please feel free to give us a call in regards to global warranty at Norlake Technical Support. Thank you.